What is up, everybody? It is Nia Pierce at SheAttackTV, and I am met with my right-handed woman as well as my left-handed woman. I'm going to go ahead and let them introduce themselves. Erica, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to the people, let the people know who you are, what you've been gaming on, and things like that.
What's going on, everyone? I'm Erica. I'm the co-manager at SheAttack.com. What have I been playing? I've been rotating between ukulele and Mr. Shifty. Both of them I really like, but Mr. Shifty is awesome. That's my fixation right now.
Yes.
Nia knows.
Yes.
You know this game is hot. So I've been playing that like the past 3 nights or so. But yeah, I've just been trying to catch up on things because these games just keep coming and coming. I'm just trying to keep up right now, and it's crazy. But yeah, I'm happy to be here. Can't wait to get the show started. So yeah, let's do it.
All right, Jaleesa, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to the people, let them know who you are and what you've been gaming on.
People, we back again for another Boss Lair. This is your girl Jaleesa.
And what you been gaming on? She just kind of stopped.
That delay,
because it's all about Persona, baby. That's all I've been playing. Except, well, that's a lie. I played Drawn to Death for like an hour, and after that, I ain't played it no more. But Persona 5, I have been on that like crack. I've been on. That's all I've been playing. So
yeah, I feel you. Persona 5 is life for you right now. It's real. Like, I know the last episode of Boss Lair, it was all about Zelda for me and Erica, and this time it's all about Persona for you. So we all been having some good experiences with games, man. That's always a very good and positive thing. So as for me, you guys already know who I am. I have been gaming on the same thing Erica has been gaming on, and that is that Mr. Shifty. Shout outs to Tiny Build for hooking us up and allowing us to play this game. Now, this is a game that I was already interested in, that already looks fun to me, and Tiny Build just made it even easier for me to get into this game. This game though, like, when you look at this game, you're like, oh, it's just another top-down indie game, you know, it's whatever, right? But when you play this game, like, it is so addictive, dude. Like, to those of you guys who haven't heard of Mr. Shifty, it is a top-down brawler where you play as a game, of course, named Mr. Shifty, and he has these teleportation powers, and it's he's fighting against, you know, enemies standing in his way, and then he's also trying to steal this item in the game and things like that. So basically, you're using your teleportation to like avoid obstacles, avoid enemies, to go through walls to get to where you need to go to get like these items and things like that. So man, it's pretty dope. Very fast paced, just fast frenetic gameplay, the kind of stuff that I personally like in video games. And there is Mr. Shifty gameplay going on in the background as we're speaking at the moment. So dope game. So just to kind of give you guys a rundown about what we're going to be talking about tonight, we got some Xbox Scorpio talk. We're going to be talking about the Nintendo Direct from yesterday. Of course, we're going to be talking about some NPD stuff, and we're going to be talking about some release dates for a couple of PlayStation games coming up real soon. So let's go ahead and delve into these topics. So first on our agenda, we're going to be talking about the Xbox Scorpio specs. Now, I'm not really a tech head, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know how to put a PC together. I know what I need to suit my needs, you know what I'm saying? Like, what kind of parts, what kind of like specifications I need. But when it comes down to actually going down into the nitty gritty of specs, like, I'm not that chick. So I'm just letting y'all know right now. Yeah, like I'm not that chick. Like, I go as far as knowing how to put a PC together, and that's kind of where it ends for me. So I'm pretty sure everybody already knows the specs already, but I'm just gonna go ahead and run down for just in case there's some people out there that have not had an opportunity to look into the specs of the console. So the CPU of the Scorpio was supposed to be a 8 custom x86 cores clocked at 2.3 gigahertz. So 8 cores, that's actually really good. The GPU 40 customized compute units at 1172 megahertz. The memory 12 gigabytes of GDDR5 RAM, which is really really good. The memory bandwidth is 326 gigabytes per second. The hard drive is going to be 1 terabyte hard drive, and the optical drive is going to be 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray. So just based on the spec sheet that we know, I didn't find anything that was really too in depth. But based on what I'm seeing here, like an 8-core CPU that's pretty. I'm actually pretty impressed for those specs for a console. But I can't go into detail as to why they good, but I know they good. That's all I'm saying. So I don't want to really make this part of the show specifically about specs, because you know what I'm saying, that's not what we're doing today. It's going to be more so of a discussion about the Scorpio, some kind of probing questions I kind of want to discuss with my team here, such as what we think about the Scorpio, what these new specs do, if anything, to quote unquote change the game or flip the script in relation to where kind of Xbox is falling in the quote unquote console war, and what the Xbox Scorpio needs to do to impress you. So I'm going to start with Jaleesa. Jaleesa, could you go ahead and tackle these questions? How do you feel about the Scorpio? What does it need to do to impress you? And do you think that these specs are going to change the tides in Microsoft's favor? I mean, what do you think?
To be very honest with you, like you said before we started, I really don't know nothing about freaking tech. All I know is when you put the game in the system and it plays. I'll say that's true. And my boy Court tried to kind of explain it to me as well, because he's a huge PC guy. Tech is cool. About tech, I would have bought a PlayStation Pro. I don't got one either. Like, I don't got a PlayStation Pro. I probably won't buy a Scorpio, but you never know. I really don't care about tech like that. I'm more of a what games you go get.
Right.
The Scorpio, it would only be for exclusives. It wouldn't be for multiplats.
Yeah.
Someone who's a Microsoft person, it may be way more up their alley, because they would play, that would be their main system.
Keep cutting out.
Yeah, she's cutting out. Crunk, you cutting out, mama.
I'm cutting out?
Yeah, like every other sentence.
Yeah. I know why. Hold up. Go ahead, Erica.
Yeah, Erica, go ahead, and then we'll let Jaleesa continue later.
I'll follow that up. I agree with Jaleesa, like, to an extent. Like, yeah, tech and all of that. It's impressive. Like, you see the numbers, like, okay, like I said in my video, they're bigger than the other numbers. So that's good, right? And I always care about, like, okay, is this system an improvement over the last one? And if that's the case, and like Jaleesa said, they bring the games, then yeah, this is a good thing. And of course, for console gamers only, like, if you don't game on PC, you like Xbox, you have a reason to be excited, because obviously this is going to be the most powerful console. It just, at the end of the day, always comes down to the games. And right now, for most, well, I don't want to say most, I'll say for me, I'm not really seeing any games in the near future that is going to make me want to buy this thing right away. I'm thinking maybe by next year, something will, catch my attention. But for right now, it's kind of about, like, okay, what's next? What are they going to show at E3? What games are coming? That's kind of like my biggest concern as far as this goes, because if anybody knows me, I mean, if you're familiar with, like, my YouTube or anything, you know that I've been kind of disappointed with Xbox recently.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking for them to rebound. It's impressive specs. I want to know what this thing is going to be called. I want to see it. So I'm ready for E3 for sure.
Yeah. I hear you, Jaleesa.
All right, cool.
So you can go ahead and continue what you were saying.
For wanting ice cream and me having to take my laptop in the kitchen. Like I was saying before my internet wanted to act retarded.
She's still cutting out.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
I don't know what's up. It's like every time you start a new sentence, it just, like, cuts out.
Am I good? Good.
Yeah.
Somewhat.
Just keep talking. You'll probably turn up at some point.
Don't stop talking. Don't take a breath.
So I just want to see what Microsoft has when it comes to games. That is all I'm worried about. That's all I want to see. Seeing the box is cool. I want to see the price and I want to know the games. Tech wise, really don't matter to me. I just don't care. If I cared, I would have got a PlayStation Pro. But it's cool. I guess it's cool to see what it can do. I mean, for people who are in the specs and who want the best third-party games, the best looking game or whatever, that might be something that they're like, yo, that's like a check off for them. But for me, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
If they don't got the games that I actually want to play, then I don't care about the system.
Right.
So it's only a few games that they got right now that I ain't gonna say a few. It's 3 games. It was 4 till they got rid of Scalebound.
Yep.
What's the other?
Because I called the one person who called it when they released it. Crackdown.
Gears? Is that Gears?
Nah.
Oh.
And what's the other game?
Cuphead
for Forza Horizon?
Nah,
was it Quantum Break?
Nah.
You mean like an upcoming game or a game that has already released?
I didn't care about all those other games. Quantum Break was cool, but I don't know. It just didn't stick out to me. But the 3 games that I really, really wanted was Scalebound, Cuphead.
No Voodoo Vince?
Oh. You mean the Mario Odyssey killer?
Well, I was really gonna buy. I was gonna buy Scorpio this year or whatever they were coming with. I really was gonna buy one this year because those 3 games are games I actually really want to play. I've been talking about Scalebound since they put it out.
Yeah.
Scalebound looks dope, and Cuphead looks amazing.
Yeah.
So I really want to play Cuphead. Like Cuphead looks extremely dope.
Yeah.
All of it is hand drawn. It's freaking amazing.
I love that art style for Cuphead. Oh my goodness, I loved it.
Art style is something I've never seen in a video game before.
Yep. Right. It's truly unique.
30s cartoon type of thing, like the old Mickey Mouse type of joints.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks amazing.
The Steamboat Mickey.
Yes, I love it. I love it so
much. Old school.
Yes, I love it. I love it. But to piggyback off of what Jaleesa, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I said half the people probably don't even know what that is.
You know, these youngsters these days. But to kind of piggyback off of what Jaleesa said, and actually, Erica, you made a good point too. Like, I have a general understanding of what the specs mean. And honestly, like, just keeping it real, keeping it 100 with you, like, it's a really significant jump from what we already have now. There's a lot of good things that the Scorpio was doing. Very, very impressive specs for a console. But, you know what I'm saying? Like, what that price is going to be, like, what games is it going to, like, showcase its power on? Like, and to be honest, like, I've made a video actually about this, one of my EIC speaks on SheAttackTV on YouTube, and one of the things that I talked about, it was some months ago when we first found out that these consoles were going to start getting like upgraded versions. I was always one of those kind of people where I'm honestly not interested in upgrading my consoles. I feel that ever since the inception of console, but then again, I consider myself kind of more like I have old school sensibilities, just keeping it honest with you when it comes down to video games. And like one of the reasons why consoles came to be is because it was a way to bring the arcade feel into your household. So, you know, the console was made to be the set-top box where you can enjoy, you know, this alternative form of entertainment, which is video games, in the comfort of your own home. And one of the things that I've kind of been criticizing consoles about these days is that they're no longer catering to that convenience factor of having a set-top box in your home. I feel that these days, consoles, they're kind of trying a little bit too hard to be baby PCs. I understand technology is moving a lot lot more quickly than it was back in the day during my childhood when arcades was a thing and then we transitioned to consoles. I understand that wholeheartedly. But at the same time, I feel like some of the things that these consoles are doing is like, those are the things that people don't like about PC, but yet you're bringing them over to your consoles. Like, no longer are the days of, example, putting in your disc and playing the game. You gotta wait for it to install and all this crazy stuff. You know what I'm saying? And when it comes down to the modern consoles, you know, Xbox and the PlayStation 4, power and all that stuff has never been an issue to me. In my opinion, whenever the PS4 or the Xbox One first came out in 2013, I honestly was okay with the 360 and the PS3, to be completely honest with you. I just wanted better gaming experiences. And my whole thing with the Scorpio is like, you know, yeah, it has very impressive specs, but what those games going to be like? Are you going to show us some games or introduce some gaming experiences to me that's going to make me feel more immersed in my gaming experience? You know what I mean? But that's not to say that specs don't matter. They do have their place, but what specs without software? That's kind of like my whole mantra when it comes down to all of this. And I already have a gaming PC where I can do, you know, some pretty good things that these consoles can do and better. So it's like, it is what it is. If I need to upgrade something, it's probably going to be my PC and not my consoles, because that's pretty much where I am most of the time anyway. So like with the Scorpio, really what I feel about the Scorpio is I'm not thrilled, because aside from what we know about the specs, we really don't know anything else. And that's kind of like the meat and potatoes, kind of like what I just mentioned before, right? And as far as whether or not I think that the Scorpio is going to change the game or flip the script, I don't think so, because at the end of the day, people can cry about specs all they want, but to be honest, specs was never the issue with the Xbox One. It has always been a software issue. You feel me? And the Scorpio specs are impressive, they're great, but it doesn't fix the overarching issue, which is enticing software. That's period, point blank. So I don't want to take anything away from the Xbox guys. You guys have the right to be excited about a new device for your favorite company. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying don't be excited for this thing, but at the same time, as gamers, we need to be holding Microsoft accountable for our gaming experience, making sure that they understand, you know what, Microsoft, these specs look fantastic, my guys, but can we get some games that appeal to my sensibilities as a gamer? You feel me? And that's kind of where I am as well. So
preach.
And I guess that kind of ties into what I feel the Scorpio needs to do to impress me. And all in all is going to be software. You know, I told you guys this on our last Boss Lair. I actually traded in my Xbox One, not because I didn't like it, but because I felt that what the Xbox One was offering was not something that I was not able to get on my PC. So I didn't really feel bad about trading in my Xbox for my Nintendo Switch, because one of them was giving me a new experience, and then the other one was something that I could already do on something else that I already had. So if Xbox really wants to impress me, like, it really has to be gaming experience. And that's just kind of what it boils down to. If anybody want to add on to that before we move on to the next topic, or what?
Well, you hit a perfect point about how, you know, Microsoft or the Xbox One isn't losing because of just the power.
Right.
You said that. When you think about the release and when it was first revealed, the price made a huge difference, because the PS4 was $100 cheaper.
Right.
That right there was like a huge thing. Right. That was a huge part of it. Also, the games, the lineup, the features, the whole DRM thing that happened.
The DRM thing was really the kicker.
Yeah, they shot themselves in the foot a lot. And they've just been trying to rebound since, which we have to give kudos to Phil Spencer for.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, is that enough? If it, you know, because we did lose Scalebound, we did lose these other games. We're waiting on other games like Cuphead and all that. So for, you know, people like us who want to see the games, and the games are the most important thing, yeah, we have our concerns, and we kind of, you know, we want to see more. So
right.
I'm with you on that.
Right. And I can say this, whenever I first got my Xbox One, I got my Xbox One about, 2014 or something like that. That was pretty much all I played. Like, I was having fun with, like, Titanfall. I was having fun with Sunset Overdrive. I was having fun with Halo. But then it was like, so what else am I supposed to do? You feel me? So it's like, that's kind of where, like, because, you know, I've always been, like, a Nintendo girl. Y'all know that. And my secondary has usually always been like Sony or Sega when Sega was making consoles. So the Xbox brand was new to me. You feel me? Like I had never really experienced Xbox on that level. The Xbox One was the very first Xbox that I had ever bought for myself. You know, I had experience with a 360, but that was not mine. And the only game that I really played on it was like Halo 4. But the Xbox One was mine and I was enjoying it, but then that kind of dried up quick. So if Xbox wants to recapture my attention, they got to bring those games. Because they were already kind of like, I hate to say this, they were already kind of irrelevant to me. And then, you know, the interest did peak when Sunset Overdrive came out. And then it kind of went back to, okay, I don't care anymore. You know, I can kind of do without it for now. But anyway, I don't want to go into my Xbox history, but to kind of move on. What were you saying, Jaleesa?
I got one thing, too. I want to see if they're going to add some studios, man. I want to see if they're going to add at least 1 or 2 new studios at E3 because they need to.
I feel like if they could, I wouldn't say they don't have to necessarily buy studios. Just add more developers to the studios that they already have. Because Microsoft Studios is an overarching thing, right? If they could just hire more developers, create some, you know, I guess some smaller teams within Microsoft Studios, that would be suitable. They ain't got to go crazy and like buy Insomniac and buy Remedy and buy, you know what I'm saying? They don't have to do all of that. They just need more manpower to bring out these games.
I want them to have a Sony Japan or Sony Digital or whatever, or Sony this or Sony that. Something that's theirs and theirs alone, because I know Phil is a games guy.
Yeah.
And I know he gets tired of hearing people say, well, Sony has this first party, Sony has that first party.
Yeah.
And we all know that Microsoft doesn't have that many first party studios that makes games for them.
That's what I'm saying, though. Like, it's not even necessarily that they need more studios. They just need more manpower. Because when you think about like Nintendo, basically all they do is first party. But they don't have like mad studios. They just have an overarching in-house studio with just a lot of people just working on games. Like that's really what it boils down to. It's just more manpower. But I mean, we're essentially saying the same thing. It's just semantics at this point.
You know what they should have done? Was throw all their money at Bungie.
They should have.
Destiny as a
that was the
exclusive
biggest thing that Microsoft.
They should have. Yeah. They should have.
That was a blunder for them.
They wanted to do, because if they would have just let Bungie do Destiny, they would have been.
That would have been.
But you know what though? At the same time though, it's kind of like something that works against Microsoft as well. Like throwing your money at people to make games for you is not really fixing the problem either, because you're throwing all this money to get games, but you're not. And that's the reason why, you know, people keep complaining like Microsoft doesn't have any storied franchises outside of like Halo, Gears, Forza. And the reason why is because they keep throwing money at these developers for these one and done games, but they're not building franchises. You don't have anything on the Xbox that's like a long lasting storied franchise, like an Uncharted, like a Legend of Zelda. You know what I mean? Like these one and done games are kind of a detriment to them in the long run. Like, yeah, they help you. Yeah, like they help in a short run getting games. Like, for example, Sunset Overdrive was amazing. They threw money at Insomniac to get that game, but where is that franchise? Like, is it even going to become a franchise? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not building.
Sell, which is like
Sony's.
Well, not even the fact that it doesn't sell, but they're not giving the. Here's my thing. And not to talk over y'all and make it seem like what I'm saying is more important. I just want to talk before I lose my point, because I do that a lot. The thing with Microsoft is that they don't allow things to become storied. They don't allow their franchises to become something that resonates. Like, for example, they've been successful with Halo because they did the right thing at the right time. But, like, there's nothing really outside of, like, for example, Halo, Gears, Forza that resonates like that with people. When you look at games like, I'm just going to use Legend of Zelda because it's a huge franchise. Storied franchise, been around forever. It's going to sell a lot because of the name alone, right? Not only that, it has a whole community and culture around it. Like, for example, if you go to some random gamer and you're like, hey, listen, they going to know exactly what the hell you're talking about. You feel me? Like, that's how you build your franchise. That's how you build a brand. And one of the things that Microsoft struggles with the most is building these experiences, building these franchises, building a culture around their franchises, because they do so many one and done games.
That's true. I didn't think about it that way.
Anyway, I'm preaching.
Think about like Quantum Break.
Exactly.
Sunset Overdrive. What else?
One and done. Where are they going after this?
One and done. That'd probably be the same thing.
But people would say that.
You know what I mean?
Too. They was like, well, you can, because a lot of PlayStation's games doesn't have multiplayer, so they feel like once you beat the story, then that's it.
No, that's different. Not having multiplayer doesn't really make it a one and done. Like an example, just using Zelda again.
I mean,
yeah.
If the story is captivating and it, like Mia says, it creates a culture, like, you're good.
Exactly.
You don't need a multiplayer.
A lot of the games that they have been coming out with, their lure or what they portray hasn't hit people enough to want a second one or push.
But that's because they don't push it.
Right.
Do you think the first Legend of Zelda on NES would have been anything if Nintendo didn't keep making them? You got to keep making them.
You got to have faith and just keep doing it.
Exactly.
Look at Horizon. That doesn't have multiplayer, but they're gonna make a new one.
You think the first Uncharted didn't do that well?
And they kept making them.
And they
kept making them. And they made Uncharted 2.
And they killed it with Uncharted 2. Like everybody wanted a PS3 after that.
And now Uncharted is a storied franchise. You see how that works?
Yeah. you gotta make the second one.
And you know what? I said the same thing about Horizon. I said they finally let the people who make Killzone Guerrilla Games make a different type of game, and that game is going to be a franchise.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying.
And yeah,
the Guerrilla, you know what I mean?
Exactly. And then people keep talking about, well, Sunset Overdrive didn't sell that well, Quantum Break didn't sell that well, Record is, well, they might not, but if you keep making them, that's how you build a culture. That's how you build a following. If you make one song, you're not gonna build a following. You gotta keep making music.
Yeah, that's a one-hit wonder. You gotta do more. Because how much did the first Uncharted sell? Probably not that much.
Oh shoot!
Right? But when Uncharted 2 came out, it was
until Uncharted 2, and then they went back and went and bought.
That's what I'm saying. That's what we're saying.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Exactly.
Improve things, make it like I'm sure the Order 1886 is probably going to get a sequel, and people didn't even like that game. You know what I mean? But
yep.
That's how you build, and then they'll make it better.
Exactly.
They'll add co-op.
Yep.
Maybe they'll add multiplayer, and they'll just build on it. Microsoft doesn't do that.
That's just like people are so excited, like I know you are, for Bloodborne 2.
Hell yeah.
Bloodborne 2, a Neo 2. They wonder how Persona got 5 games. I'm like, because they just keep making them because people.
Exactly, and that's what Microsoft needs to learn. These one and done games are just hurting them in the long run.
The fact about Destiny that I wanted to bring up too was the fact that I feel that Microsoft could have had a new IP as in a Destiny as a exclusive if they would have just let Bungie do what they wanted to do and not have Bungie keep making Halo.
Yep.
Because there's a lot of people who just love Bungie.
Yep, true.
They would have
showed up.
It would have caught on. So, I don't know. That was a huge blunder by them.
Yeah, I agree.
If they wouldn't have let Bungie go, stayed the course and been like, we trust in you as a developer and you've been with us for so long, we're gonna let you leave Halo alone for at least a year or two and let y'all do what you want to do since you got new ideas.
Exactly.
And we're coming into a new generation.
And the funny thing about this, y'all know I gotta throw Nintendo and everything, but the funny thing about this is that even Nintendo learned that the people who made Splatoon are Animal Crossing developers.
Dope.
So hey, I'm just saying.
Look,
I'm just saying.
People like it.
There's a whole culture around Splatoon. But let's go ahead and move on, y'all, because we've been on this for a while. We could literally talk about this all day.
We could.
Because there's just so much to say. Because I'm one of those kind of gamers, man. I don't want to see none of the big three fail. I want to see them all succeed and do well and provide what we want to see as gamers, right? So this kind of stuff I do care about. But we got to move on. So let's go ahead and talk about our next topic, which is going to be the Nintendo Direct. So to those of you guys who do not know, Nintendo had a Direct yesterday, and it was centered around ARMS and Splatoon 2. So I'm not going to go over too much of this stuff because most of it is just newsy things that a lot of people probably really don't care about. So in regard to ARMS, they released a new character. I mean, they announced a new character. I'm sorry.
Crunk, what was that?
I didn't say nothing.
Oh, my bad. They announced a new character, and they also announced that ARMS is going to have a 2v2 mode, which I'm actually pretty excited about. They also talked about this horde mode for Splatoon 2 called Salmon Run. Also something I'm pretty excited about because I did feel like the first one needed to have some type of a horde mode. And it looks pretty dope. It's called Salmon Run. And we did get some release dates for both ARMS and Splatoon. ARMS is coming out June 10th. Splatoon is coming out July 21st. They also announced a couple of other smaller games, like, of course, Minecraft is coming. They announced a release date for Ultra Street Fighter 2. They announced Payday 2, of all things, for the freaking Switch, coming out this summer. I guess that's cool if you want to play like a co-op heist game on the go. I mean, it's old, but something about the portability of things makes people look at things a little bit differently. I'm starting to realize. I don't care, but a lot of people care. Let's see. Oh, also another smaller game probably people don't care about but me because I like strategy games. Battle Chasers Night War. It's an RPG, dungeon crawler type of game. Turn-based gameplay by THQ Nordic. It's coming out, I think, in the summer as well. They also talked about some things for the Nintendo 3DS. I personally don't care about any of these except for Fire Emblem Echoes. They also talked about some Kirby things they're going to be doing for Kirby's 25th anniversary this fall or this summer, one of them. And they also talked about like the Box Boy 3, which is going to be called Bye Bye Box Boy, which is kind of like a cult classic digital game by Nintendo. And they also released or talked about some other amiibo that are becoming, like they released, why do I keep saying released? They announced 3 The Legend of Zelda amiibo. One is Majora's Mask Link with the Goron mask, Twilight Princess Link, and then The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword Link. For Smash Brothers, they released 2 versions of Cloud Strife from Final Fantasy VII. They released 2 for Bayonetta, and then they released 2 for Corrin from the Fire Emblem franchise, if you care about that. So that's all for Nintendo news as far as that is concerned. Oh, never mind. I'm sorry. Other Nintendo news. So apparently Nintendo was the NPD winner for March, which is really not that surprising. It's new hardware. Of course, people are going to go out and buy it. But the most interesting thing about the sales is that, one, Nintendo sent out a press release today saying that the Nintendo Switch becomes the fastest selling video game console in Nintendo history. The Nintendo Switch itself sold more than 906,000 units in the United States, and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which is interesting enough, sold over 1.3 million units worldwide, 925,000 units being the Nintendo Switch version, 460,000 units being sold for the Wii U version. So a lot of people did buy Zelda on the Switch, and more people bought Zelda Switch than the actual Switch itself. So I thought that was really interesting. I know. I'm just going to attribute it to the fact that people wasn't able to get a hold of them because Nintendo has stock issues more than anybody in gaming. Like, their stock situations are just bizarre. Like, it's ridiculous. They could sell so many more units of things if they would just learn how to keep stuff in stock. Like, it's crazy. They know this stuff is going to sell out. Just ship a buttload of them so people can buy them. I mean, goodness.
That's probably why people bought Zelda, because they're like, oh my gosh, I don't want it to run out.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's crazy. They don't ever keep things in stock. And speaking of not keeping things in stock, the NES Classic is getting discontinued. So those of you guys who have been waiting for an NES Classic since launch, tough cookies, my dudes. You're not going to be able to get a hold of them because they're stopping the production on those. I'm not really sure the reason why. There hasn't been a reason explained. I'm not sure if it's because they just simply could not meet the demand or what, but they're no longer going to be making them. So what is it?
You're gonna have to go spend like 10,000 on eBay if you want.
No thanks. I'm good. I'm good.
But yeah, check this
I'm
out.
good.
Check this out. I was listening to Throwdown a while ago. Shout out to them, Tony, and all of them. Well, that guy Chris that's on there, he was saying I don't know if he knows this for sure, and I'm just paraphrasing, but he was saying that the NES Classic, they were using like leftover stuff from the Wii U to build.
No, I think that's true. Like a lot of some of the assets. Actually, I don't know if that's true or not, because apparently the NES Classics. You know what? It might be true.
Well, you know the cord. You know how
it could be
complaining that the cord for the controller is really short. It's like the same size as the Wiimote or whatever that is. You know what I'm talking about? The nunchuck.
Yeah.
Yes, that it's like the same length.
Yeah.
So I was like kind of mind blown when he said that, and he's kind of like he knows a lot of stuff about Nintendo. So I was like, huh. Maybe that's true. So maybe they just ran out of stuff.
Maybe that's true. I can see that. I can see that being something they do, because Nintendo is cheap. Okay, if they got some extra, if they got some extra stuff going around, they gonna use it if it's still good. You feel me? Like
That's pretty crazy though. Like conspiracy theories going around. But
yeah, anyways, I don't know if it's true or not, but I could see that being true, because apparently the NES Mini is more powerful than the Wii, so it's it's probable they use some Wii assets to maybe added some extra things to make it a little bit more stable or something. I could see that. I could see it happening.
Pretty crazy.
So we're gonna go ahead and move on to some other news. We're gonna move on to the PlayStation side of things now. So Uncharted Lost Legacy, the DLC, standalone DLC to clarify, is going to be coming out for the PlayStation 4 on August 22nd. So those of you guys who are looking forward to that, I think it's going to be a pretty dope game. And to be honest, I was telling Erica and Jaleesa before we went on air that I'm actually a lot more excited for Uncharted Lost Legacy than I was for the main game. Just something about Lost Legacy, it just kind of captures me more. I don't know if it's because the way that they kind of like showcased it. What was it at PSX? Like just kind of the way that they kind of set it up, where Chloe was trying to infiltrate some building or something. Like I don't know. It just looks really interesting. It was really interesting to me. Anybody want to talk about some news that maybe I missed, or just kind of expound on what news I've already talked about before we allow Jaleesa to rave about Persona 5?
Let me get out of here. Let me leave.
Oh my goodness.
Just kidding. I had a question about whatchamacallit, Splatoon, the Horde mode. How's that gonna work?
So the way that it's set up is just like any other Horde mode, where you have waves of enemies coming at you. And the way that they explained it in the direct is that you've got these hordes of enemies coming at you, and then there's also this objective based part of the Horde mode where you have to collect this thing called golden eggs. So you have to collect golden eggs and fight off this horde of enemies. And when you collect, I guess you collect so many of them, and then they go to the to the town or whatever. I don't really know exactly what those golden eggs are going to be used for, but it is going to be objective based as well as the horde mode. I don't really know the details. I think they're going to talk more about it at E3, because there's a lot of stuff they actually did not talk about. Because apparently there's going to be some kind of reward system, like in-game reward system in relation to that horde mode. So, my guess is they're going to talk more about it at E3. But we know that it's going to be a horde mode, and there's going to be some objectives within the level. So that's what we do know.
Okay, that's cool.
So
I was just wondering,
what
are who are the actual enemies though?
So the enemies are going to be these radioactive salmon. Because for those of you guys who don't know the synopsis of Splatoon, it's supposed to be, this is Nintendo's version of a post-apocalyptic world, right? All the humans are dead. Squids have become humanoid because of radioactive activity. So that's where the Inklings come from. And so we have this, the salmon run. The salmon have also suffered from radioactive activity, and they're very vicious and aggressive. So you got them coming out of this radioactive goo. I guess you're like at a lake or something that has been contaminated with chemicals or whatever. So they come out in waves. The lesser aggressive ones will come out, and then the more aggressive ones will come out to where just like the big boss ones, I guess. And you got to take them down, and they're also armed with their own versions of like the splat bombs, and that can kill you, stuff like that. And they also have this interesting way of how do I say this? It's not rehabilitating. That's not the word I'm looking for. Reviving. There we go. Reviving your character, your teammate. So say your teammate dies. Throw out your lifesaver. There's lifesavers that you carry on your back, and that's how you respawn. Nintendo always has to do things different. They can't just say press A to revive. They always gotta be different. But anyway, so yeah, it's just like your typical horror mode, but it does look fun.
That's cool. I mean, at least they're adding new stuff, because I know some people who are criticizing it. It's like, oh, it's just like the first game.
I think there's a lot they just haven't showed us, to be honest. Yeah.
That's good though. That's good to hear.
Yeah, I think that if anybody had any doubts of whether or not Splatoon 2 was going to be different from Splatoon 1, like this is definitely it. Because like that was me too. I played the test fire a couple of weeks ago, and it was really fun. But a lot of it was kind of like familiar. And not that that's bad. When it comes down to multiplayer focused games, you're going to have a lot of familiarities between installments. So it's not like it's like a deal breaker. But I did really want them to add more modes to make sure that this kind of differentiates itself from the first one. And Salmon Run was definitely like that. Yep, this is different. So I'm digging it. I hope they show us more at E3.
I'm looking at that arms though. I don't know.
Man, I don't care what nobody say. People are sleeping.
Interesting.
People are sleeping.
When I first saw that,
it's kind of got like a Power Stone feel to it.
Yep, it's like a mixture between like Power Stone, Overwatch, and Splatoon. I feel like, to me,
or like a Punch Out.
Or like Punch Out, yeah. I still think they should put Wireframe Little Mac in there.
I really when I saw that game, all I saw was Wii Box, and I'm like, hell yeah.
What, Jaleesa? Let me find out you get a Switch. You can catch these arms, chick.
Hey, we could do 2-on-2, right?
Yes.
That'd be fun.
Boxing, I was real in that game.
I don't know if I have the endurance for that anymore. That was when I was in my young and sexy days. I don't know.
You'll get it back.
I have no choice but to.
And I wanted to say one more thing though. I'm extremely excited about Uncharted Lost Legacy.
Oh yeah, it looks so dope.
Extremely excited for that. Not just because I'm an Uncharted fan, but the fact that I am a Chloe fan.
Yeah.
And I was so pissed off that Chloe was not in Uncharted 4. I did not get it. I was like, where is she at? She's in the multiplayer, but why is she in the multiplayer when she ain't even in the freaking game?
And it's like 10 hours, right?
Yes, it is. It's an actual. It's might as well say it's a game.
Yeah. Do you know how much it's gonna like retail for? Or
I'm guessing 40.
40. $39.99. Okay. Yeah. That's not bad. That's not bad.
You can buy it in the store.
Yeah, you can buy it and not even have the first game, so that's a good deal, I think. I'm interested. I'm definitely copping that. Hopefully, I have money by then. Because I definitely do want that. Like, to me, it's just something interesting about it. I don't know if it's because, like, the protagonist. I'm sorry. Nathan Drake, he's cool, but something about these protagonists in this game is just more interesting to me. But
it's a girl.
Maybe it's because they're women. I don't know. I think I'm just tired of seeing white dudes and everything. Like give us some variety sometimes.
But you know what though? From somebody who has played and beat Uncharted 4, I'm intrigued about this game because it happens afterwards.
Yeah.
This game happened after 4, and I want to know where the hell Chloe been at. And also, we don't know a lot about Maydeen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
About who she is as a character.
Yeah, true.
It'll be interesting.
I have Uncharted 4, but I've played all of like the multiplayer, and like that's it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I need to just actually go and beat it, like play it and beat it. But I do know for sure I will be getting that Lost Legacy. That definitely interests me. I don't really think it's the female protagonist thing. I think it's just the overall theme in general. It just looks interesting and kind of different. You know what I mean? It's not typical Uncharted. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what it is too. It just looks interesting.
Like it's running on if not the same engine, like if it's running on.
It could be the same engine, but just refined.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it. Like, physically doesn't look like Uncharted 4.
Yeah.
Like, it looks very polished. And I'm thinking that whatever it's running on, I think that's what The Last of Us 2 is going to be running on. Because it looks different.
It looks good, too. It does look good. Like, art style-wise, graphically.
Yeah, because like at PSX, I remember at PSX when I was, there and people in the crowd were like saying, "Is this Tomb Raider?" Like nobody knew what it was.
Yeah, it did seem like it was like a Tomb Raider.
Yeah, because it just looked so different.
Yeah,
and there was a girl obviously that just showed her eyes, and like, who's that? Like nobody could figure it out.
Yeah,
she revealed herself.
Yeah,
different.
I feel you. So now it's that time of the show where we allow Jaleesa to ramble about Persona 5. This is your moment, girl. You've been waiting for this game. I need you to spill the tea. Would you look at the time?
I'm just playing. Go for it.
Yes, girl. Tell us about this game. Let us know. Spill the tea. Don't spoil it, though, because some people in the chat probably haven't played it yet. Just spill the tea. Let us know what's going on, girl.
I might as well spill the damn tea. Atlas don't want to let me spill it.
Oh, damn.
I might as well. Nah, I would never do people like that, though. This game is too good to spoil, man. Persona 5 is a extremely good JRPG. It does everything that you would think a JRPG should do, and it does it very well. Wow, but we haven't had like any Sony console hasn't had one since PS2. So this is the first Persona to show up on an actual console since PS2 days. With Persona 4, we got Persona 4 Golden, but Persona 4 Golden was on the Vita. Then they got 3DS got Dancing All Night.
And Persona Q as well.
Yeah, the little
Did you get those games?
Actually, no. I wanted to play Persona Q, but I changed my mind after I seen gameplay, and I was like, Dancing All Night is a rhythm game, so I know damn well I'm gonna buy that. But I watched the anime. I watched Persona anime. And all of it's because of 4.
Yeah.
For people who've never played Persona before, this is a great game to get into. You don't need to know any of the characters because every Persona game is different. None of the characters leak over to the next game. It's an all new game, all new mysteries, so you don't have to play the previous ones to get it. This is the great game to get into if you have never played a Persona game before, because the way they get you into the game, it takes time, but they teach you everything you need to know in the first 20 hours.
Yeah.
There's a lot of layers and a lot of stuff to this game that you have to figure out. You have to
So for those of the people out there who have not had a chance to play Persona 5, without spoiling it, what is pretty much the objective or the plot of this game? Is it a continuation of the Persona series from 4, or is it like its own thing? Like, what's going on in Persona?
First of all, the only thing that's the same is basically you're a group of. That's basically it. That's in social links. Other than that, everything else is different. It's always been turn-based. If people don't know, it's turn-based. So if you are an action RPG type of person, you may not like it if you don't fool with turn-based RPGs. Right, like they've added little things and it's a whole lot of shit that they added to the game that made what they did before a whole lot better. And it's this game, and that they delayed it for a reason.
Right.
The characters are I like the characters. I think I like the characters in 4 a little better. But the actual animal character, last time it was Teddy. I think how you say his name, Morgana. I think that's how you say it. Morgana's a cat. Morgana is hilarious. They curse on this game. The game, like all the Persona games, have all dealt with extremely dark stuff.
Yeah, it came from Shin Megami Tensei. And Shin Megami Tensei is very dark.
Like sexual assault, greed. They deal with a lot of different types of stuff. People killing themselves, all types of stuff. But overall, it's really good. They changed around where you go into it's like a metaverse basically. And the metaverse is basically how you used to go into dungeons on Persona 4. And basically the dungeons, they change all the time, they're never the same. And then you have these things called palaces. The palaces are always set in stone, they don't change. But the palace is basically it's kind of hard to explain. Basically, the palace is a place that you try to defeat the person you're trying to defeat in the actual real world.
Right.
And the palace basically is a manifestation of somebody's, but put in the metaverse. So you have one person's was a bank, one person's palace was a shack, like a huge shack. One person's manifestation was what was the first one? I can't think of it. I think he saw himself as a king, so it was a castle. There you go. It was like a castle.
So basically, a castle are like the manifestations of your personas. Like, how's that work? I don't know any of this terminology.
It's how you feel about, like, okay, like the first guy you meet or you try to take down, he sees himself as a king. He sees women as a queen, all team that he coaches as slaves. History, the way he treats himself is he treats himself as a king. He treats women as sexual property or something, like he feels that they owe him something. And he treats his team that he teaches at high school, volleyball team, track team, he teaches them as if they were slaves.
Sounds like a nice guy.
He seems like a nice guy on the outside.
I was being sarcastic.
He seems like a nice guy until you actually understand what the hell he's doing. And then also, I like about this game, it doesn't start off slow like Persona 4 did. Persona 4 starts off extremely slow. Persona 5, it starts off right off the gate, and then it slows down a little bit, and it starts like character development. Really good in this game.
So would you say? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You go ahead.
I was gonna say. So would you recommend Persona 5 to someone who has never played a Persona game ever? Is it easy to get into, or do you have to kind of know, kind of like the ethos of what's going on in Persona, kind of know what to expect going in? So, like, how would you say?
I mean, I wouldn't say that at all. I know a lot of people, like my cousin, for instance. I was telling him about this game and the stuff that was going on in it, and he was like, "Yo, I gotta come in your house and check this out," because I was on like putting videos of like gameplay and stuff on Snapchat to let him see what it was looking like, and he was like, "No, that looks dope," and such. I'm like, "Yeah, man, it's interesting. It's a lot of stuff that be going on. Like, for instance, like if you want to open up more of the area in the town, like if you want to, like, you have social links and you have to actually go to people, talk to people, socialize with people, go on dates, hang out with people to build their social link. And the more that you go out with people, the more that you build upon your link with them, and they actually, it benefits you in the long run.
Right.
So say for instance, there's a doctor that stays like right down the street from your house. So if you want to build a social link with her, the more and more you go see her and spend time with her, the more and more you'll get health type of attributes.
Right.
Or you'll open up more stuff you can buy to help you in the palaces when you go fight the people in the metaverse.
Mm-hmm.
So it's benefits. Or you meet a person, this guy that used to be in the government, and he does speeches outside of the station, and he's falling off, but he's like outside of the station giving speeches and stuff. If you go work with him and go build your social link with him, it helps when you go to the palace and you negotiate with the personas.
Mm-hmm.
What I mean by negotiate is basically like when you play Pokemon and you catch a Pokemon. Same thing with Persona when you catch a Persona.
Mm-hmm.
But the difference between you catching a Pokemon and catching a Persona is you negotiate with the persona.
Yeah.
So negotiating, basically, you could tell them to join you to help to fight with you, or you can it's basically called a negotiation, and they'll tell you to stick up. They'll point their guns at them and stick up. You will.
Yeah.
And get an item. You can get an item from them. You can get money from them, or you can have them to join you and fill out your chain of personas that you fight with. They can fight with you.
Well, I don't mean to cut you off, Jaleesa, but we have to progress. Thank you so much for giving us your insight on Persona 5. It sounds like a cool game. Yeah. 9 out of 10. You heard it here, folks. 9 out of 10. Persona 5. Go cop it.
Stay tuned for her first impression.
Yeah, stay tuned. She's got one coming for the site. So if you want to know what's going on with Persona and you're kind of on the fence, check out her review, her impressions. She'll let you know the tea, y'all.
I will. I'm 60 hours in. So I'm 60 hours in right now.
Yes. So let's go ahead and move on now to questions. So we got a couple of questions from Gaming and Gaining. Shout outs to you. So I know that's Kenny. Shout outs to Kenny. His first question is, Neo was Game of the Year. Do you agree? That's an Erica question.
Well, like I was saying in the chat right now, Kenny, he has been putting in mad hours into that game.
Oh, nice.
Like more than me. I thought I was gonna be like crazy hooked, but him, he just
on a whole other level.
Every night, yeah, for like I don't know, a whole month. He was on there like every night.
Yeah,
so he was in love with that game.
I heard you went back to Dark Souls and you didn't.
Oh my gosh, it was rough. The speed of Dark Souls is like, it feels so slow compared to Neo, so it's hard to go back. But I'm gonna try it again soon. I'm gonna try to go back to that DLC.
That's hilarious.
Game of the Year though, that's way too early, Kenny. But I mean, so far, yeah, it's my favorite game. I
don't know. Yeah, y'all already know my Game of the Year. It's not even worth even mentioning.
Oh shoot, Zelda. Oh, man. I wasn't even thinking of. Oh, yeah. I don't know if I can answer this question right now.
Like, this is not the best time to answer this question.
It slipped my mind.
It must not be Game of the Year then. If it slipped your mind.
It doesn't mean that. It's just, there's so many games.
There's so many good games coming out this year. I know.
For not thinking about it.
Oh shoot.
So many games.
No, man.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But Neo is definitely up there.
Yeah.
Like, it's a good game.
That's facts though. But that Mr. Shifty, I saw in the comments, you was like, Mr. Shifty, why you tripping though? Mr. Shifty is legit though. Like, I'm not even tripping.
That could be Indie of the Year.
It could be Indie of the Year. Like $15 on Steam, the Nintendo eShop. Mr. Shifty is lit, y'all. Like, that's not an exaggeration. But let's go ahead and move on to the next question. Do you think that the Project Scorpio will be held back by the Xbox One? Anybody want to take that one?
What was the question again?
Do you think that the Project Scorpio will be held back by the original Xbox One?
Like parody and stuff like that?
Yeah.
It's possible that
I don't think so, because if that's the case, I'm sorry.
I would say for like multiplayer, yeah. Like if they're gonna have a multiplayer, they're probably gonna have it at like 30 frames on both. If it's 30 frames, you know what I mean? Like if it's 30 frames on the Xbox One,
yeah,
maybe they'll keep it like that.
For multi-platform games, yeah, you're right about that. Because Microsoft, I don't know if they did away with it or not, but do they still have the parity clause?
That's what I don't know. I don't know enough about it to comment.
See, if they got rid of the parity clause, I don't think so. Because when you think about it, you're doing the same thing on PC. You can play a PC game either low, high, medium, ultra. I don't really see how the Xbox Scorpio will hold back the Xbox One at all. Because it's really a matter of just turning the settings up. If you're familiar with PC, I don't really see how that's like a big deal. And that's kind of how I look at all of this stuff. Like, nobody's getting held back by anything.
That's true. Hopefully, I mean, if it does happen, I mean, people are going to have a fit.
And not only that, yeah, true.
It shouldn't happen.
But not only that, these days, if anything is getting held back by anything, it's consoles. I hate to be that guy, but these days, developers are making games for consoles first and PCs second. So if anything, that's what's going on. But for consoles, you're good. You're gonna be okay regardless. Let me see. The next question: will Rockstar release a new Manhunt game? I don't think so. Nope, I say no.
Yeah, I don't know. It's all about that Red Dead right now.
All about that Red Dead.
All about that Red Dead.
I keep forgetting that game is coming.
Too when it comes to Scorpio. Like,
yeah,
I'm curious how that game is gonna look, how it's gonna run on Scorpio. Like that could be the game that really makes me just like.
Don't they have some kind of deal about Red Dead or something like that, or am I thinking about something else?
Has it.
The PS4 has it. Okay, well never mind. It's not taking advantage of nothing.
Well, they have the marketing rights and all that.
Oh yeah. As far as if that's the case, then yeah.
It's gonna be crazy though if they do like a Destiny thing where they hold back content. It's like only on PS4 for a year or something like that. That's gonna be wild if that happens. Like,
but if Sony has the marketing rights, they're not gonna make it look better on the Scorpio. I don't think. I think it's gonna be parity with the PlayStation Pro. Because they don't want to mess up what they have with Sony because they're, in charge of the marketing rights. They're going to try to look good on Sony because of that reason. Now, if it was coming out and nobody had any marketing deals and stuff like that, then I think the Scorpio will look the best. But then again, I don't know. Maybe corporations are not that petty, and the Scorpio version might actually look legit. I don't know.
Interesting. Like when all that stuff starts, I can't even talk. When that starts to surface, like as far as games, like all the details, like even like Kenny saying in the chat right now, Battlefront 2. Like if there's significant differences, like that's gonna be big. I mean, people do buy consoles for power.
I mean, I guess they do. Maybe they do.
For the best looking multiplats and that. But this far into the generation, like
that's what I'm saying. Like maybe if it was the beginning of the gen, like when
that people are just gonna dump their pros in the garbage and them in. That's like I don't know about that. But people who are just getting a console or they have an Xbox One, those are the ones that you want to go for.
I don't think that's happening, to be honest. I think like at the beginning when the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. Well, I don't want to say the Xbox One didn't have games, because the Xbox One did have a decent library. It had Rise, it had what did it have? Some other stuff that was actually interesting.
I wasn't feeling either of them, to be honest.
When either launch
generation first started. I didn't have a PS4 until like late.
Both launches were underwhelming to me, but if I had to compare the two, I would say the Xbox One did have a better launch. And when it comes down to like exclusive games, because I buy consoles for exclusives. I'm sorry.
Like if it wasn't for Battlefield 4, I don't even know if I would have bought an Xbox One launch.
I was okay with my PS3. I wasn't really tripping. But like the thing is, back then, power meant something because the gen was new and there wasn't really any standout titles really on either end. So at that time, it was like, okay, if I'm going to be an early adopter, I'm going to get the one that's going to give me the most bang for my buck. That was pretty much the mindset for a lot of people at the beginning of the generation. And at that time, it was the PlayStation 4 because the PlayStation 4 was not only cheaper, but it had the most power. So people felt like it would be a little bit more future-proof than the Xbox One. Now that the PS4 has an established library, I don't really think people are going to be as gung-ho about going out and getting an Xbox Scorpio unless they were already big fans of Microsoft. Or I guess if they do care about playing their multi-platform games on a higher fidelity and don't care about PC gaming, then I can see those people getting it. But I honestly think that type of gamer is far and few in between. I'm pressed to believe that most gamers are like me, you, and Jaleesa. I might be wrong, but I'm believing that most gamers are like us, where they really just care about games first and foremost, and then specs are kind of like the top icing on the cake. But then again, gamers these days have different sensibilities than what we do, because, we actually care about certain things.
For everybody, like, I hope we're in the majority.
I don't know. Sometimes I wonder.
But I'll tell you what, we're not. You want to know why? Because gamers play about the same 5 or 6 games every year.
Yeah. Well, but that kind of agrees with the statement, like they don't care about power too much. They care about
that's what I'm saying.
Where their friends are at, where Madden is at, where they're more comfortable. I think there's a bunch of gamers out there, if they've had Xbox all their life, they're gonna just get an Xbox.
Yep.
Because they're familiar with it. They have all their friends there.
All their friends, all their achievements, all of that.
Yeah,
the
achievements.
third-party marketing stuff does kind of.
There's probably people out there who make their decision on that. Like, oh, where am I going to get Destiny? Okay, I'll get it on PS4. Like, there's probably people like that, but I don't think that's the majority. It depends, I guess.
Yeah.
If they got the money to jump around like that.
But when you think about it though, look at how the PS4 Pro is doing. Like a lot of people, who are PlayStation diehards or people who care about 4K, so they bought it. But for the most part, a lot of people are still happy with their like day one PS4.
Yeah.
So it's like
I still got mine.
Like it just depends, I guess, on maybe how they market it and if there's any incentive to upgrade.
And
but
a lot of people are buying Slims. They're not buying
exactly. A lot of people would rather have a more efficient, smaller console, I feel like, than have like
price.
Yeah.
This is so important.
Man, that Slim flew off of the shelves last winter.
I feel like that's interesting.
Sell like that.
Yeah, I feel like that's interesting that more people care about the Slim than the Pro. But let's go ahead and move on to the very last question before we get out of here, because we have exceeded an hour. So the last question: what do you think about the new color of the Joy-Cons? I don't care. I mean, I guess that yellow is nice, but I'm not running out to buy freaking Joy-Cons. I don't even.
Real? I saw a picture of that.
No, the yellow Joy-Con are real. I think it's a nice yellow, but I don't care. I'm not buying any more Joy-Con. I'm happy with my Pro controller and the Joy-Cons that I have. Yeah,
so yellow is kind of a weird color to go with, though.
They're releasing yellow alongside ARMS, because the ARMS has the yellow logo, so it's like a 2-in-2, not a 2-in-2 deal, but it's I don't want to say promotional. It's just more along the ARMS launch. I can't find a easier way of saying that. But anyway,
I would think yellow would be for like Donkey Kong or something like that.
Yeah.
But that makes sense. Though.
Yeah.
I have a question before we leave. 1, 2, 3 rank you most excited for E3.
Who am I most excited for E3?
Well, yeah, who are you most excited to see for E3?
The conferences,
Like the conferences, or like individual games, or
anything. What are you
just anything?
What am I most excited to see at E3?
Yeah, because I think a lot of people got a lot of shit to prove this time around.
I think so, yeah. I think that Nintendo has to prove that they can sustain a console and not have as many droughts as the Wii U. Like that's like a big thing for Nintendo right now. But as far as like individual, if we were to narrow it down, I want to see what the hell Retro Studios is doing. Because they've been hiring mad people. They've been hiring out the ass for several months to a few years now. And I know they ain't making no Donkey Kong. They either making a Metroid, or they making something new, or they're working on a Nintendo IP we haven't seen in a while. They're doing something, because they've been hiring like ex Naughty Dog employees, like ex freaking Bungie people. Like, what are they doing? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, I'm going to say it. We're going to hear about Metroid.
Girl, don't shut up. Nope. I'm not accepting that.
I've seen it on Twitch and stuff like that, and gameplay of it. It looks.
I will tell you this though: if Retro Studios is working on a Metroid, it has to have multiplayer, because a lot of people are too stupid to wrap their heads around Metroid, and that's the reason why Metroid has never been a big seller for Nintendo. Because even though it takes the form of like a first-person adventure, first-person shooter game, it's so many puzzles and like like people don't want to go through that. They want corridor.
I want a 2D. I want a 2D Metroid.
No, we're done. Bye. Thanks for coming out, everybody.
What?
Nope.
Are you serious? I really do.
Nope.
Not like that.
Nope. Nope. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I love 2D Metroid. But it's been so long since we had a mainline Metroid. If it's 2D, I'm going to be triggered. That's just keeping it 100%.
I would be cool with it. As long as it's, like, good, you know?
Here's the thing. I'll settle with you, okay? I know a lot of people get on Metroid Other M because, like, the story was trash and stuff like that. But one thing that I did like about Metroid Other M is that they gave the 2D Metroid fans something that they like, and then they gave the first person Metroid fans what they like, because they had some sections that was in 2.5D, and then they had some other sections in first person. Now, if Retro Studios could make a game that has different perspectives for different parts of the game, I would be okay with that.
Kind of like Nier. Autumn
Kind of
Sun.
like Nier, yes. I would be okay with that.
That would be cool.
But if it's straight up 2D, I'm triggered. I'm just letting you know.
What
All
about
right,
you?
we could settle with that then, Liz. Make everybody happy somehow.
You, Erica, what you looking forward to?
But that's my bold prediction for Nintendo. I
Ah,
hope.
we'll see.
And then for PS4, you guys already know Bloodborne 2.
Yep.
I have to see Bloodborne 2. And just Microsoft's conference in general, like I'm excited for it. I just want
to
to
see what they're gonna
show.
do.
Yeah, and then Nintendo,
Yeah.
like you said, just show games.
Yep. That's kind of how I am.
That's like my top 3, I guess.
Well, for me, number one would be I want to see.
Oh, you wanted us to give more than one?
No.
She said top 3.
Top 3?
Top 3, but you could give multiple ones. It didn't matter.
Okay.
Because I know everybody's looking for something different. It may not be the same thing.
Yeah.
For me, it's Microsoft will be number 3. I'm really looking forward to see what they show. I'm excited because it seems like Microsoft is on the ball. They're doing stuff that I like. And they also what was that, today or yesterday? You gotta if you buy games digital and you don't want them, you can they got a buyback system now.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so they're doing good right now, and I believe this E3 is make or break, man. Phil Spencer, this is his time to shine.
Yeah, I feel like they've been too quiet for them to not have anything.
I told people, I said, yo, Microsoft ain't been showing nothing but controllers. That's about it. So they've been extremely quiet, unless it was something with Scorpio. So I'm intrigued because Microsoft is unusually quiet. Is Insomniac going to finally show Spider-Man?
Yeah, that's a good question, actually.
I think they will.
There's been some rumblings about that game here lately too.
I've heard it may come out this year, and I heard it may not.
That movie's coming out, so
yeah, they gotta come out when the movie comes out.
Something.
Yeah,
at least show it.
I think they're gonna show Spider-Man at E3, and if they do that, that's gonna blow my mind. And
what about The Last of Us?
I care about Last of Us, but it's not what Last of Us.
Because you already know Last of Us is gonna be fire.
Yeah. You know how long it's been since we got a great Spider-Man game? Like, it's been a minute.
That's true.
Vision has just been assholes. They just wasn't doing Spider-Man justice. So I can't wait. And then Insomniac, they're like
Insomniac is like, oh, I love them so much. I love Insomniac.
Punch was doing Spider-Man, but when I heard Insomniac, that kind of blew me back.
Yeah, I have so much faith in Insomniac. Like, I love them. They don't give the credit. They don't get the credit they deserve, I don't think.
After Ratchet and Clank, I have the utmost respect for Insomniac because I did like the other games that they did for Sony, but I really liked Ratchet and Clank.
Because you know why? Because Ratchet and Clank is true to them. I feel like a lot of the games that Insomniac did back in the PS3 era that wasn't Ratchet and Clank was them just trying to keep up with the times per se. You know what I mean? But like when it came down to like Ratchet and Clank, they were true to themselves. When it came down to like Sunset Overdrive, they were true to themselves. It was that same fun humor that they put in their games. You know what I mean? Like true to them, I think. And I think that's the reason why those are games that people love so much, because you know when a developer puts their heart and souls into a project. You know what I mean?
And my number one is more of a question, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, how is Sony going to combat Scorpio?
I don't think they are.
God of War.
I think they are. They are.
I don't think they are, like, spec-wise. I think that what they're going to do...
And this is what I was going to say. I was going to make my point.
Yeah.
This whole generation, Sony has been slim on first-party titles, but they always are. We've known this for years. That
they
Sony
start slow and then it like picks up.
They take forever to get a game out. You may get one game here, one game there, but you don't get an extreme amount of first-party titles until like maybe year 4. They've always like year 3, year 4 of every generation. So all this time with the Pro, and that they knew Scorpio was coming a year late. So I'm wondering if they're going to unleash at least 2 first-party games.
Oh, you mean in relation to games? Yeah, I think the games all they need. But as far as like hardware, I don't think they.
Yeah, when it comes to no. When it comes to games, or how are they gonna combat
Oh, they'll
the
be
Scorpio?
They'll be okay. They already got games.
No. I know. I'm just saying because they can't do what they've been doing, and that is depending on third party during the fall.
Yeah.
Because or even though
I see where you're going with this. I see where you're
I
going.
think it's gonna happen though. They got Red Dead, Destiny.
Yeah. I was gonna bring that up. That's the conundrum. I'm worried. I'm like not worried about, but thinking
that
about
vocabulary word though. Conundrum.
Damn.
We learning y'all over here, folks.
Look, they got Red Dead, Destiny. All 3 of those games.
Possibly Battlefront.
Yeah, Battlefront. I got a feeling they got Battlefront too, because they had it last time.
Mm-hmm.
Battlefront 2, Destiny 2, and Red Dead 2.
Mm-hmm.
All 3 of them games are extremely big, and they're gonna do well because Sony putting their name on it. It just. And then last time they had it too. So I'm saying those games are gonna do well, but they can't depend on all the rest of them third-party titles anymore in the fall. They're gonna have to put out a first-party title to combat.
I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like Sony would be all right.
They're gonna surprise people, and they're gonna put out at least 2 first-party titles because we gotta realize that's dropping soon. Gran Turismo dropping. Are they gonna surprise us at E3 with a God of War reveal? Is God of War coming out this year?
Yeah.
Spider-Man coming out this year? One of those 2 games is dropping this year.
Yeah.
It's probably gonna be that other one, the zombie game. What the hell's it called?
Days Gone.
Yeah, I think that one might come. They need to get that out sooner because Last of Us will come.
Yeah, it can't come out too close to Last of Us.
Yeah.
I said the same thing.
The apocalyptic, unless it's a totally different game, like they show us things that make it a lot different. I don't know.
Zombie games usually have the same mantra.
When I first saw that game, I said the exact same thing that they can't.
Oh. Hello?
Then people gonna probably.
Oh, okay. I couldn't hear you guys. We good now?
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I don't really think. Sorry, go ahead, Erica.
No, I was gonna say I think they'll be fine. I think they're gonna ride Red Dead Redemption heavy, and Destiny very heavy.
I don't really think Sony has to do much, to be honest.
Because look, Destiny comes out in September. Red Dead, they're saying what, October?
No, I heard November. But
okay, November, and then you also have Call of Duty. Don't forget Call of Duty, and then Battlefront in November probably. So they could release something in October. That's probably the only month they could.
Yeah, I got a feeling they're gonna release one of those 2 games this year. I think they're gonna have to.
Yeah.
The Days Gone would be cool, like for Halloween or whatever.
Yeah.
I think put it out.
I think if they come out with Spider-Man with the movie, that'd be dope. That'd be a push.
Yeah.
That would have to come quick.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. They've been working on the game for a while, so.
To be honest, though, I don't really think Sony has to do much. I mean, they already got the game. They got the market share on lock. They got gamers' mind share on lock. Like
all they gotta do is lower the price on the Pro. That's it.
That's it.
They're gonna have to.
That's it.
Scorpio, like what? If Scorpio's $400, they're gonna have to. They're gonna have to lower that joint.
It's gonna be crazy if it's 500 plus, because then the Pro will be what, 350?
Unless Microsoft take a loss. Microsoft may take a loss.
We talking about Microsoft.
I go back and forth.
I don't know.
Like,
I don't know.
From that 500, well, I ain't gonna say learn, because they actually sold. The Xbox One actually sold well. It's just that PS4 is just selling extremely well.
I mean, yeah.
Because it's outpacing the 360. It's selling more.
Yeah, true. I mean, I'm not really talking about in regards to sales. I mean, just the mind share of gamers. I feel like ever since Microsoft has kind of been slow to bring out, like I told you guys about my experience with Xbox. I'm like a first time Xbox adopter, right? So when I first got my Xbox, it was interesting. It was new, but then that dried up really quick because Microsoft dried up really quick. So it's like, how can they get gamers' mind share back to where they are a part of the popular conversation in a positive light? Because I feel like here lately, whenever people talk about Microsoft, it's like, well, you know, Microsoft is cool, but what them games though? You know what I'm saying? That's always the conversation. So what is Microsoft going to do to put themselves back in that conversation? I think that in regards to that, it's going to have to be games. But if they come in with the Scorpio and it's not really like games like that, then Sony's going to keep it on lock, because right now Sony is the one with the games. That's just my opinion.
It's gonna be interesting because now we have Switch in the mix now too. Like if Nintendo can, like, because you know people are gonna buy Mario. That's a given.
Yeah.
Like if there could be other games if they can get some multiplats, possibly.
I don't think people care about multiplats on Nintendo.
Yeah, for the most part.
I think that Nintendo has to create. They have to be the ones to create that software that's gonna get people excited. And then when Nintendo creates that exciting software and they get that install base up, then yes, we're going to start seeing more multi-platform games, but it starts with Nintendo. Like, you would never, like, the Wii U proved this. The Wii U launched with mad third-party games. Granted, they were older. They're about 6 months to a year older, but they were there. And nobody cared because Nintendo didn't show up. The only Nintendo first-party games that were at the Wii U launch were Nintendo Land, which was a mini-game compilation. I mean, it was a good one, but nobody cares about mini-game compilations. And New Super Mario Brothers U. And a lot of people are starting to kind of lose their love for New Super Mario Brothers, the series, because they're not differentiating themselves enough from previous iterations. So that's why, you know, Nintendo is going to be them. They're going to have to be the ones to jumpstart the excitement for this console. Multiplats ain't going to do that. It's going to give people another reason to get a Switch, but Nintendo themselves has to bring the heat.
Yeah. So like they have to, like, how can I say this? Do you think they have to reinvent their first party titles like they did Zelda?
Nope.
And Mario?
They just need to make them good. Nope. No, they just need to make them good.
I mean, like reinvigorate the IPs. Like,
oh yeah. Of course, yes,
to match up with the times. Like,
yeah.
It's like the Zelda right now. This Zelda is
the best Zelda ever. Yeah, I know.
Mario is different.
Gonna be the best Mario ever. Yeah, since the 64.
Yeah,
yep. Y'all gotta remember, I'm the only Nintendo fangirl on the podcast. I have to do it.
Mario looks like Mario 64.
Exactly. And I think that those are the games that we're going to be getting on the Switch, to be honest, because here they have this console that people actually care about and want. And obviously, this was the console they were working on when they weren't doing anything for the Wii U. So yeah, you're going to see them games.
I want them to reinvigorate all of their first titles, and they look like brand new titles, even though you know what they are, but they just feel different.
Yeah. I think we're going to see that.
I love seeing y'all faces when Zelda came out.
Zelda's fire. But Zelda's always fire. Breath of the Wild didn't change that. But no, I see what you're saying. I think that if Nintendo can continue to bring the heat and make sure that their first party is on point, they're good.
Yeah, both of y'all have been extremely critical of Nintendo.
Yeah. But not for their games though. Their games are always on point. It's the other stuff that they piss me off about.
When Zelda came out, y'all were happy.
It's never been their games though with me and Nintendo. It's just been other stuff. But I think that they're gonna be. I think that they are gonna be more. What am I trying to say? I think they are gonna be more. What am I trying to say?
Present as far as like marketing, stuff like that.
Well, no, I think they're gonna be more aggressive. That's what I'm trying to say with their IPs this go around. Because with the Wii U, there was a lot of really good games on the Wii U, Nintendo first-party games. But at the same time, there weren't too many of them that felt like evolutions. They were more just like, okay, this is a great game, but it kind of feels like what we played on the Wii or the GameCube or whatever. For example, like Super Mario 3D World, great game, but it felt very much close to Super Mario 3D Land that was on the 3DS some years before it. Pikmin 3, personally, one of my favorite games on the Wii U. Great game, felt a lot like Pikmin 2. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that when it comes down to Nintendo's first party offerings on the Switch and beyond, we're going to be seeing them go all out. Like Mario Odyssey, They definitely going all out, And if Mario is going all out, everything else is going all out. That's kind of how I look at it, because anytime you have a company who's making sure that their flagship is like legit, everything else gonna be legit. That's just kind of how I look at it. But
you can even see it like, sorry to cut you off, but I was
it's
gonna
fine.
say, like, you can even see it in examples like ARMS, for example.
ARMS, very brand new game.
Instead of playing it safe and doing like a punch out, they're doing something like this that is even more, you know, evolved. Like
exactly,
it's like a boxing game, but it's not. You know what I mean? Like it's that to me is like a good example, right?
Yeah. There. And a lot of people don't know this. I'm gonna talk about this, then I'm gonna move on because we're going on like an hour 30, and I know Erica, she got a life. I don't have a life, so. But
I do, unfortunately. I play games, man. I hate work.
I know.
I hate being an adult.
I know it sucks, but to keep going on this point, Nintendo is really showing that they are willing to do new things. They led the charge with Splatoon 1, and it was very successful. So they're continuing to do it with Splatoon 2 and ARMS, and I do think we're going to be seeing more stuff, because a lot of people don't know this, but if y'all pay attention to SheAttack.com, you would know this, because I've been talking about this for years. So a lot of people don't know this, but the Splatoon developers are people who are behind Animal Crossing. And if you play Animal Crossing, completely, totally different type of game than what Splatoon is, right? So they've got these developers that they call the Nintendo Garage. They're like a combination of developers from all their studios, like the Pikmin team, the Animal Crossing team, the Mario Kart team, which is the people behind ARMS, by the way. And they all come together after hours, after they're working on their main projects, and they think about new gaming ideas. Splatoon came from this idea. ARMS came from this idea. So I think that because they saw how successful Splatoon was, it's really making them want to rev up on bringing these new experiences to people. And that's why I keep telling people, like, y'all sleeping on ARMS, dude. Like, ARMS could be legit if enough people support it and it becomes a thing. But anyway, I'm done with that. So we're going to go ahead and get up out of here. Thank you guys so much for coming through. This has been a very good episode, by the way. Very good discussions here. I always love these podcasts so much. Tell us how you feel about the podcast. If you think that we could improve, what do you want to see us do more on the podcast? Boss Lair, we're still in our infancy. So, we still got some stuff that, we probably need to work on and tweak and things like that. But we're always willing to listen to suggestions. Don't forget to check out SheAttack.com. Don't forget to subscribe to SheAttackTV on YouTube. Don't forget to make sure you're following SheAttack on Twitch. We also have a Patreon if you want to help us get equipment and things like that that'll further our content for the site. And we also have a PayPal if you are not in a position to be a subscriber. Any little bit helps. $1 a month. Whatever you can do, every little bit helps. So thank you guys so much for coming out. I'm going to go ahead and allow us to do our outros until we say our official goodbyes. Jaleesa, go ahead and tell the people goodbye, where they could find you, and any interesting information you just want to let the people know before we get up out of here.
All right, people. Thanks for coming through and chilling with us. I love doing this and talking to y'all. It's been a crazy couple of months with a lot of games, so we all been busy with life and trying to get some of these games in.
Yes.
But that's a good thing, because if we didn't have games, we'd be whining and complaining. So thanks for everybody for coming through. The chat was lively. Also, y'all can find me on Twitter at crunkgirl711. Also check out the YouTube, and also I should have an article up by at least tomorrow, or not article, video up for Persona 5, and I should have the article up by at least Saturday. So I've been working on both for like a good week.
Nice.
So everything should be by the end of the week.
And if you haven't had a chance to check out Jaleesa's impressions on Horizon Zero Dawn, make sure you go ahead and check that out. That is also something that you can find on SheAttackTV on YouTube. So Erica, I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to you. Go ahead and give your outro with any interesting information you want to tell the people before we get up out of here. Or not.
Find me on Twitter.
Oh, there we go.
Wait, what?
You cut out for a little bit.
Oh, my bad. You know what? I think it's Discord. It's
It could be.
Because you guys were cutting out too. But
Mm-hmm.
let me try and get this all out. So yeah, you can find me on Twitter, Eric Cuts for the Win. Same thing on YouTube. Check out my videos. I put up some previews for Mr. Shifty and Ukulele. You could also find a written preview of Ukulele on SheAttack.com. I wrote that last week. But yeah, I'm accepting applications to the Filthy Neutral Club. You guys don't have to play. You don't have to play console wars. Just play games. That's
I love
what
it.
it's all about.
I love it.
Filthy Neutral for life.
I love it so much. Oh my god. See, I'll say this. I definitely have a preference. Everybody knows I'm a Nintendo head, but I am very objective in my game playing. If it's a good game, I'm gonna play it. I don't care the console. So does that make me a neutral or nah? What does that make me?
You're the filthiest. You already know. I told you. You're one of the dirtiest ones.
That's hilarious. Oh my god.
You're like the co-manager with me.
Oh, I love that. That is hilarious. All right. So, of course, you guys know, if you're interested in following me on my personal social media, you can find me at The Video Game Her on Twitter, at The Video Game Her on YouTube. And if you are a Twitch person, you can watch me at Nia Loves Ninty on Twitch. And thank you guys again so much for watching this episode. And we're going to get up out of here. Peace out.